Hey, Big Brother fans, we have got your nominations, spoilers for week 7, with Vince on his second HOH of BB27. We're going to talk about who's at risk and who was Mickey threatening today. It's good stuff. This is Belinda. Please smash that subscribe. Now let's get into it. So before I tell you who are Vince's initial 3 nominations, just real quick, I want to run through his one-on-ones today because I want you to see who was throwing who under the bus, how he made his decision, who lost their minds. And then we'll get to who's on the block because Vince was actually giving, I think, a master class today in manipulation. I'm not the biggest fan of he and his mustache, but I think I'm coming around because he was superb today and Mickey snapped. So lots of fun. Thursday night, after Vince won the wall comp, Morgan took up most of his time, keeping him up till about 5 a.m. Oh, also, have you heard these allegations about Vince somehow getting a helping hand from production in the wall comp? They're saying that he was basically tethered to the wall. These conspiracy theories, y'all. And there's also stuff about how Mickey didn't really win the BB Blockbuster because the camera angles weren't showing what they thought they should, and that Rylie locked in way too early. I think he was nervous, and I think he screwed up, basically. And I think Morgan did the best she could, and the camera work was crap, not intentionally, because, you know, some camera guys are better than others. So even if you are certain the game is rigged, here it is. Vince is week 7 head of household. He got a letter from his girlfriend and woke up today tired and started one-on-one. So Will was in there first. He encouraged Vince to stay true to the judges' alliance. So he and Will talked, and Rachel's name came up, but Vince said he wasn't eager to put her on the block. And that was good for Will, who is totally cool with Mickey going or Katherine going, doesn't need either of them in the house. Lauren came to see Vince next, and he was saying Katherine and Kelly won't even look at him because he voted against Rylie. Then he tells her he's thinking Mickey, Ava, and Rachel. And as they talked, Vince masterfully brought Lauren around to not wanting Rachel on the block. So he brought her up and then talked through it to the point that she didn't want it. So it was solid work. Keanu was in there next, and his chunky, dumb butt, who does not weigh 230 pounds, by the way, said Mickey and Rachel need to be on the block, and one of them needs to go. And then he was also pressing to see Ashley on the block. Keanu's advice was to nominate Rachel directly because, get this, he said, quote, she doesn't have the emotional intelligence to forgive a blindside. The irony of Keanu talking about EQ when he cannot read anyone. He is wrong 100% of the time in every situation. And Kelly did her thing where she volunteered to go on the block low-key, so looks like she's going to get her wish, by the way. Keanu doesn't want Kelly on the block because he has no clue that she hates him. That is low EQ. So Vince talked to Katherine next, and this was interesting. He was trying to slip and slide his way out of accountability for being one of the people who voted to evict Rylie. So Vince tells Katherine he was told Rylie had the votes to stay, and he was told to give Morgan a sympathy vote. And then Vince blamed Rachel for Rylie's eviction because he said she swayed Ava at the last moment, and that's why she was crying and everything. So Katherine thought Vince flipped because he'd heard Rylie was going to nominate him, which he was, but Vince played dumb and said that he was tricked and that he knows Rylie would never have nominated him. And then he starts begging Katherine, please don't tell anyone I was duped. That's because he doesn't want her telling anyone the lies he was telling her. So that was fun. Vince got Katherine to agree that Mickey is a great target for the week. So watching the feeds, very clear. Vince is sticking with the judges, but manipulating and lying to convince the others that he's acting in their best interest and is to blame for nothing. Vince lied to Katherine, and then, of course, saying he was mad that he was tricked into evicting Rylie and said she's going to see it in his noms. It's like, oh boy, okay. Ava got her one-on-one. She knows she's on his list because she nominated Vince during her HOH. Interesting, Ava did not blame Rachel for flipping her vote to Rylie, but Ava did tell Vince that Mickey manipulated her into nominating Vince during her HOH. And in the end, Ava agreed that she understands if he puts her up. Vince says if Ava does go up, she's a pawn. He made a big deal out of how he's trying to salvage his game this week, yada, 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 more lies and manipulations. Then it was Rachel's turn, and he said he didn't want to nominate her. Vince said he wants to work with her. He talked about nominating Mickey and how she basically took over his first HOH. Vince said he's leaning towards Mickey, Kelly, and Ava, but wants to be sure that the judges are solid. And Rachel reassured him, said she wouldn't use the veto if she played and won. None of the alliance would. Nobody would change his noms if they won POV. And also, this is just right there, she told Vince she likes Keanu and wants him to stay in the house. So Rachel is loyal to the frenemies, yet Keanu threw her right under the bus. Then he stayed after Rachel had left her one-on-one with Vince, and he was again pressing the HOH to nominate Rachel. So just terribly disloyal. I am so hoping that she finds out that he's throwing her name out there and she does one of her bomb disses in front of the house and just rips Keanu in half. That's what I'm hoping for. Now, let's talk about Mickey and Vince's chat, because this is when she lost her ever-loving mind. So Mickey claims, no, she didn't influence Ava to nominate Vince. She said that was all Rachel's doing. But Vince told her that he was told that Mickey is responsible, and then she demanded to know who told you this, and he wouldn't spill. And Vince said because of what he'd heard and because of her really strong social game, Mickey was probably going to be nominated, and she just lost it. I don't know why Mickey thought attacking the HOH was a good idea, but she went after Vince hard. Mickey told Vince that he's kissing Rachel's ASS. She told Vince she knows he's playing both sides of the house. And then Mickey told Vince that she was on the block next to him this past week because she protected him and said she sent Jimmy out instead of him as a renom and was trying to blame that on Rachel. But we all know that she definitely didn't want Jimmy on the block. So it's just all these lies. They're not good lies. Vince tells pretty good slippery lies. Mickey keeps going. I almost went home for keeping your ASS. And then it gets wild. She told Vince she knows he wants to make a really big move and said, go for it, but do not put me up. Mickey told Vince, if you put me up, I will haunt you in your dreams. I'm so effing serious. I literally have gone to bat for your ASS. And Mickey kept harassing Vince to tell her who's been talking about her. And then before she left, she said, do not put my on the block. And Mickey also ranted, this is crazy, said she and Morgan fought tooth and nail to save Vince, and Lauren barely moved to save him, is what she said. I'm sorry, what? She tried to get Lauren to throw Otev to her so she could take herself off the block. And then Lauren risked her whole game by taking Vince down. So it's crazy. The last person he talked to before making his nominations today was Ashley. And she reassured him the alliance is solid. Nobody will use the veto and change his noms. Meanwhile, Mickey goes, she's ranting to Will with no idea that he really wants her gone too. So now to the nominees, and then a couple of funny tweets that had me spit taking my coffee this morning. Vince officially nominated Kelly and Ava, and sure enough, he did put Mickey's argumentative butt on the block. Her DRs are going to be so nuclear. They're going to be great. And apparently, this is one of the tweets. BB26's Tucker DeLaurier is a big Rylie defender. He is one of the very few alums, him and Evil Dick, who are Team Rylie. And if Evil Dick is on your side, question all your life choices. So Tucker defended the creepy cowboy and said that the way he was with Katherine is aggressive love and called it cute. Okay, so several people on X were saying, and I agree, that Rubina dodged a bullet with that breakup with Tucker. But the tweet of the day, the one that killed me, said, Morgan is a stage 5 clinger to everything except the wall. That was the one that I literally spit my coffee. Check back tomorrow to see who wins the veto comp and whether they plan to risk Vince's initial nominations by using it. But right now, we've got Kelly, Ava, and a very, very pissed off Mickey on the block.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.